Okay, wonderful. I want to look at the bad first, and I'm going to do a lot of talking on this. So, guys, if you would like to interrupt me, do so. I'm just going to keep on going. But we're going to look at what happened and how the Dolphins were able to pile together all these yards. That is Patrick Queen, number 6, highlighted. He's going to be highlighted quite a bit during this telecast and or during this film breakdown. And you're going to see exactly what frustrates you week to week on Patrick Queen, giving up ground and doing some inexplicable stuff in the middle of the field. So here we go. God bless you, Patrick Queen. I appreciate you. I know you work hard. Nice guy. You support all the podcasters, but when the plays need to be made, I need to show the people out here why Miami was able to move the ball on us so much. So we're going to see just a lack of awareness here. Now he's got one guy coming across him, doesn't see him coming behind him. That is a common thing with Patrick Queen. There's only one way that guy can go. He needs to be able to take a peek, know that he's got a crossing route in front of him. There's literally no reason to go to his left here. What are you doing? Stick with your guy. Okay, self-explanatory. And we'll see it again right here. There's really no reason to take that step. You've got to be able to peek. Okay, there he is right there. And this one I don't blame him with too much because he does slip down, and that is Jalen Waddle. But that did definitely make my notes. Not going to pick on PQ a ton for that. It's a tough play. Like to see him stand on his feet. We're going to see another bugaboo here. He identifies this well and slips off. That's another thing you see with PQ. He had 2 missed tackles in this game. This one's pretty egregious. You have to take the right angle. Okay, ready? Here we go. Hike, arms cocked. There he goes. So, yeah, he reacted at a good pace, but he takes the wrong angle, not a safe angle, and just can't bring it home. Another missed tackle coming up here. And now if he settles his feet, forces the guy to the sideline, he will get help, but he doesn't. He just flies by and misses, unable to really settle his feet and even really make contact, and I believe he took out away on that play as well. This is a problem. This one does not feature Patrick Queen. This is on the coaches. Okay, game situation here. 3rd and 14 from the 15-yard line, 28-7 lead in the third quarter. And Mike McDonald is going to call for a 2-man rush here. We're going to rush 2 guys. You're going to see Tua have all day. Actually, this is the one you missed if you had to go out. 2 guys. Tua has all day to step up, and Mike Gesicki makes a ridiculous catch in the back of the end zone. You can see there was no one close to Tua. Even a third rusher, maybe you get him to move his feet. You know what I mean? Maybe you get him to change his arm angle. But this was just way too conservative. Your pass rushers have no chance to get home. It took a miraculous play by Mike Gesicki. Good throw by Tua, but they got it done. Alec, talk to me about Mike McDonald in this game. We talked about him before you got on.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest disappointment I had was I think they kind of tricked themselves at the end of the game there, and they weren't calling the right kind of plays. The number one example that just got me going, I know we talked about it a little bit on the phone earlier, was that whole exchange where Hamilton missed, his assignment on Tyreek Hill when Tyreek Hill got the touchdown. So many failures happened to get to that point. He was lined up in a spot that even if his assignment was that, and he knew that his assignment was that, he doesn't have the speed to get back there in time. Hill was going to burn him. So that was a mistake. Well, if he's not lined up there, you should have called a timeout. It was 3rd and 6. It was a huge game situation. We had the timeouts. So what happened there? We've seen coaches call dead a play before. So I'm looking for a bounce back game from him. I'm looking for him to keep things simpler for the defense. Just put them where they need to go. I think that we're going to have problems getting pressure against the Patriots just because of how their offensive line plays. And I'd rather just see what the front four can do than try to do elaborate schemes that maybe these younger players aren't ready for.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you're up by 3 touchdowns. There's no reason to do stuff like a 2-man rush. There's no reason to do stuff like Alec is talking about at the end of the game where you basically have no safety over the top. Like, just do what you did for the first 6-7 quarters where your defense was playing pretty darn well.
Yeah, and I like what you said about not having these elaborate plays, because especially with Hamilton, I know he's a rookie and I know he's a great athlete, but making him do too much too fast, like we talked about when we were talking about all the snaps he took in college, I just don't see a point in doing that to him this early on.
Yeah, and I was a little disappointed, Ashley. Usually I like when Harbaugh, he doesn't do it very often, but I like when he gives us some clarity on what happened. But it seemed like he threw Hamilton under the bus. Like Alec was saying, you might as well have just said his name. Might as well just said his name. You know, rookies got to get it together. But he was saying, look, miscommunication, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, you know what? Your coach has put him in that position. You have Chuck Clark, who knows what he's doing in the back end, that you will not have mental breakdowns with Chuck. That's what he does well. You could put Kyle Hamilton in that box, Ashley, instead of Chuck Clark.
I agree.
Put him at that left outside linebacker spot we were talking about where Malik is. Give yourself some speed and some versatility and some better coverage out there until Bowser gets back. That's kind of where I would go with it. But Ashley, one more thing before we go on. And look, we got PQ circled here again. Patrick Queen, Ashley, is playing 100% of the snaps, okay? Chuck Clark is wearing the green dot and playing 100% of the snaps. So what I'm thinking is happening here, Ashley, is they're keeping Queen on the field to see if he can be a 3-down linebacker, to be able to give him the green dot so they can work Hamilton in more as the season goes along. Do you feel me on that? And then how important would it be for Queen to be a 3-down linebacker to get better at some of the things that we're looking at tonight, if that's the plan?
I do remember hearing about that. I do remember hearing people discussing about whether he'd be ready or not for the green dot this season. And as of now, I don't like that idea. And I love Patrick Queen, and I think he has potential to be great, but he needs to be consistent. I mean, I'm not like a huge Chuck Clark fan, but there's nothing wrong with him, you know? Like, I'm perfectly okay with him doing that. He's way more capable than Queen is. And I would just like to see a little more. I don't have a ton of faith in giving him that much leadership.
Alec, how are you feeling about that, buddy? What do you think about my hypothesis that, yeah, Chuck Clark's got the green dot for now, but Patrick Queen's playing every snap because they may want Chuck Clark to come off the field if Kyle Hamilton starts to emerge. And then, you know, your confidence in PQ to be able to take that green dot and run with it and stay on the field.
It pains me to butter you up, but I think it's really smart analysis there. I honestly hadn't thought about it, that may be why he's at 100% of snaps. And I think it makes a lot of sense that is the reason for 100% of snaps. I will say, though, I'll be in agreement with Ashley here. I don't want him to be the green dot where anytime soon. I think if you're looking long-term for the team, I think it's going to be Hamilton. I think they'll keep the tradition of a safety having the green dot. And I don't know what Queen's future looks like for this team unless he really turns it on soon. I don't expect us extending the 5th-year option. I don't expect him being part of the plans. So, yeah, I would love to see myself be wrong, but we haven't seen enough yet.
All right, very well said. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to look at a couple of more breakdowns here before we get to the happy part, which is Mr. Lamar Jackson. See Patrick Queen here. He's going to drop into coverage here, and it's going to be another one of the same pattern, what we've seen and what I've seen for the last 2 years. Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going? You see him break the wrong way. I think this one's in slow motion. No, it's not. There's nobody to his right. There is the Dolphin. You can see in the screen, I can't point, coming towards his way. If he just takes a peek over his left shoulder, Ashley, Alec, everybody, he'd know that route is crossing him. And yet he is going to just take himself right out of the picture. Tough. Again, and you can see the reaction. I want you guys to pay attention to Marcus and Josh Bynes. It's just, you know, they're like, man, this is the same stuff happening over and over again. Look at his teammates, bro. Like, this again. Yeah,
the emoting is just terrible. I tell you, man, looking at, there's another one.
Yeah.
The big thing, man, that you always know about PQ is we're not going to ask you to line up against a wide receiver, man on man. That's not the responsibility. It's get in the way of the throwing lane so they can't go there in the first place. Give your cornerback some slack. You know, That's what we're asking from you. And if you're messing that up, you're really asking a lot of your corners. And it's not surprising with these yak monsters, they were able to eat us alive.
Yeah, and actually, like the analogy that I want to see from Pete Q break, because he's got all the talent in the world, is that when you start driving and you have 10 and 2, and your eyes are dead on the road in front of you, you know what I mean? That's kind of how he plays inside linebacker. And like if you're driving at 10 and 2 and you're just looking in front of you and there's a pothole and you swerve, well, you might hit another car in the next lane. You know what I mean? Because you don't have awareness of what's going on around you. That's my best analogy for what's happening with Mr. Queen in coverage. It's like if he just takes a peek real quick, okay, there's the in-breaking route. You could say, all right, he's coming straight across really hard, or he's coming, on an angle back, and you can just take that step. But there's no reason to be breaking to the outside. I mean, look at the screen now. All the receivers are going to be outside of where your inside linebackers are. They're all crossing you. So just take a quick peek, your left and right. It only takes 1 second to, less than a second to do that. Put your eyes right back on the quarterback. So does that make sense, Ashley? Anybody else out there? That's kind of the analogy I would draw with Patrick.
It does. And it's really frustrating to watch this because this isn't what Patrick Queen is made of. He's capable of so much more. And I like what Edwin said, is that his biggest issue is he overthinks and doesn't always play free. And which is what you were getting at, is that he does more so I don't want to say what he thinks he should be doing, but like he said, he overthinks, and he's not just reacting. He's not just allowing his instincts to take over, when he would be so much better if he just did that every game. Because he's done it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Ashley. Go ahead. Because
I was done.
Yeah, he's done it. And if you put Patrick Queen in man coverage, by the way, he's good. Dude, he can cut with the receiver, blah, blah, blah. It's just that zone, the awareness in zone. Where is it? Right here. It appears that they have more faith in Hamilton's ball instincts to kick in. Hamilton's got some great instincts, but we're going to see here on this play, one of the fateful plays in the game where it works against them. Okay, so this is one of the plays Alec was talking about. You have Tyreek Hill at the bottom of your screen, okay? He is going to run a go route. Marcus Peters is covering him. You see Kyle Hamilton highlighted in the purple right there. Hamilton's main responsibility on this play is to cover the deep half. He has got Marcus's back. Marcus wants to funnel things to him, if anything, that he's the safety over the top on that side. And let's just watch Hamilton have his eyes on the candy. He's not even looking at Tyreek Hill. And that was one of the killers. So then when you see it in slow motion, you're going to see Queen right there, number 6. And that's what Hamilton wants to help on. And he just gets caught flat-footed. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to try to narrate. Sorry about that. You see Queen take a big drop. And Hamilton knows that Queen's late getting there, and he wants to do somebody else's job. So can you guys see Patrick Queen, number 6, on your screen there?
Yep.
Okay, and you see the slot receiver for Miami at the top, close to the line of scrimmage. So he's going to cross. Queen's going to pick him up. Queen overruns him again. So that slot receiver is going to run behind Queen. Hamilton sees it. Look at Kyle Hamilton. He's not even looking at Tyreek Hill. And look how far Tyreek Hill has already gotten. That is Tyreek freaking Hill running a go route, and you got deep responsibilities. You cannot be worried about what Patrick Queen is doing and what that receiver is doing on the 35-yard line. You are up in this game. It is the fourth quarter. They need big plays. Kyle Hamilton, this is one of the big mistakes that Harbaugh's talking about. You see, he never really even looks at Tyreek Hill. He's worried about Queen missing his coverage. Well, it's too late. So there you go. The big play that they needed. Got an argument with PFF about that, by the way. The guy DM'd me. But, yeah, that to me is 80% on Patrick Queen. That is 80% on Kyle Hamilton. As a safety, from the time you're taught football, you've got to take that deep responsibility. And that's what happened here. Now, this, Ashley, is the play that Alec was talking about. Mike McDonald turned into Wink here. Look at all those guys at the line of scrimmage. At the top of your screen, once again, Tyreek Hill on Jalen Armour Davis. You guys see any safeties in the picture? Not damn one. They're all around the line of scrimmage. You can see Marcus Williams, 32. You can see his number facing you. Kyle Hamilton is right behind him. And what's going to happen here is they're going to follow the same person, and neither one of them is going to go to that deep half to help Jalen Armour Davis. Alec, this is where you, as a coach, when you see this kind of confusion, you call the timeout, bro.
Yeah, dude, you totally called the timeout. This is just, it's making me a little sick. I only want to, don't hit the play button, man. I might throw up. But yeah, no, it's this is going to be rough. And I got to say, man, I appreciate you breaking down the Patrick Queen bit of that last play. You're 100% right. I think if PQ doesn't overrun his player there, maybe Hamilton doesn't take the bait. Now, it doesn't excuse Hamilton taking the bait, but that led to it.
Yeah, just a breakdown all the way around. You know, as a safety, they said, man, I don't mean to like be insulting, but that's something anybody that's played football or coached football in the comments can tell you. Your first responsibility is to be the deepest of the deep, not let anything get over your head, especially when the other team is down, and especially when it's Tyreek Hill running a go route, bro. Like, you've got to be kind of wary of that. So let's see how this turns out. We know you can see Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams are following the same guy right there on the logo. You see 32, you see 14. Not one of them is backing up Jalen Armour Davis. Tua's already let go of the ball, bro. Look at it.
Yep.
Like, I feel like even if Hamilton would have streaked to the right spot, there's no way he's going to be able to help on this, which is why, Ashley, to me, it comes back in coaching. Why are we doing all this? Why not have a safety on that side in this situation?
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words because it's so reckless, irresponsible to have such silly mistakes made this deep into the game when you shouldn't ever have that type of confidence to be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They're down this many points. It's the NFL.
That's right.
They did pull that stunt against the Chiefs last year when they had Tyreek Hill. Like, granted, yeah, you give a little bit more respect to Mahomes than Tua, but come on, he's an NFL quarterback. He'll make that play.
And again, game situation. That's all it is in matchups. It's Tyreek Hill versus Jalen Armour Davis playing his first extensive action. Marlon was on ice for this game. Again, Marlon had a really good game. I had like 7 positive notes for Marlon in this game. He was just all over the field, tackling and coverage. But yeah, this is a lack of awareness. I would have loved to seen the timeout before this play is called, and we know how this is going to go. You can see Armour Davis looking for the help, like almost like Armour Davis is passing him off for some reason. We watched Jalen Armour Davis, like, yeah, you can go ahead. What? Wait a minute. There's no safety back there. What's going on? And then watch the players again. They turn towards Hamilton. Bro, what are you doing?